The Red Devils are in town, and the stake couldn't be higher as Chelsea fight to save their Champions League dreams. We are diving deep into the uncertainty surrounding Liam Rosenior's future, the names on the short list if the board finally flip the switch, and the crazy summer blueprints from Fabrizio's latest updates to the tactical war at the bridge. We have a lot to break down, but before we dive into it, if you are new here, welcome to the channel. But if you have been following me for a while, you know the drill. Help your boy get to that 10k subscriber mark. Let's dive into it. We found ourselves in a position that feels hauntingly familiar. It's a loop we can't seem to break out from. Even as the results stutter and the atmosphere at the bridge turns toxic, the world from the top remains unshakable. According to Skyscape, Chelsea's position is that Liam Rosenior is the head coach for the long term. They are going to continue to support him even if the results aren't great at the moment. They have faith in him. They are planning on keeping him even if they don't qualify for the Champions League. But we have heard this story before, haven't we? I look at Liam Rosenior era and I'm fuming. It's starting to look like the Graham Potter era, where we are being told to trust a process that feels like it's stored in the driveway. Skyscape put into word exactly what I've been feeling watching us lately. He said, I understand the club putting out the message that they believe in Rosenior and they are going to back it. But this has to change because my personal feeling is that something is not right. This is Chelsea. And that's the kicker. This is not Chelsea. We're a club built on a standard of excellence, on the pursuit of winning trophies. But now, when you go to Stamford Bridge, it doesn't feel like you are going to watch Chelsea. There's something missing from the club on and off the pitch. There is a soul snatching happening in this town. We look at the pitch and we see a team that has got younger rather than better, as the Athletics so sharply puts it. They noted that Premier League and Champions League present football two steepest learning curves. No wonder the message coming from people with an understanding of Chelsea's plans says there is a focus on greater emotional resilience, maturity, and players who can make an impact from the start. But where is that maturity? We are nearly 5 years into this project. This isn't year 1 or year 2 anymore. We have seen world-class managers walk away because they couldn't work under the constraints of this ownership. And yet the board is doubling down. The report suggests that Rosenior is safe regardless of the Champions League. According to Kenan Gill, Rosenior was told he wouldn't face an immediate summer 2026 review, and only something approaching an absolute meltdown could force Chelsea into another change of manager. Rosenior is heavily involved in recruitment meetings, and honestly, I have no faith in this ownership to employ the right manager. And even if they did, would they let him lead? We are watching a blue pound experiment play out in real time, while the identity of our club slip through our finger. We are told Rosenior is the man for the next decade, but behind the scenes, the wheels are already turning. It's a strategy we have seen before, a constant succession planning that makes you wonder how much they actually believe in their own public statements. According to Graham Bailey, a very familiar name has entered the chat. Chelsea are also understood to be impressed with Cesc Fabregas' rapid development in management and include him among the profile they are monitoring, while the club insists they have no intention of parting company with Liam Rosenior. They continue to maintain a short list of potential future options, a strategy previously seen under Enzo Maresca. Seeing Cesc Fabregas linked to bridge his difference, we know his IQ, we know his vision, and seeing what he's doing in management makes him an incredibly tempting aesthetic choice. But he's not the only one. There is a major tactical shift coming to the Premier League this summer. One of the most respected overachievers in the league is officially hitting the market. According to the Athletic, Andoni Areola will leave Bournemouth when his contract expires at the end of this season. Bournemouth sources say they tried everything possible to keep Areola after 15 months of negotiation. Now this is where it gets complicated for us, because we all know Areola was considered as a replacement for Enzo Maresca. He's a heavy metal manager, high press, high intensity, verticality. But who do I prefer? Like I said, I don't trust the ownership to make the right call, but I actually like both managers. The problem is there are two completely different profiles. If we go for Cesc Fabregas, we are looking for control, technical brilliance, and that DNA connection. If we go for Areola, we are looking at a tactical system that will squeeze every ounce of effort out of this young squad. It depends on what we want to be. Are we a team that wants to dominate on the ball, or a team that wants to hunt and pack? But we have to look at the what if. If the board finally caves, if the absolute meltdown actually happens and Rosenior gets sacked, we are back at square one. We are back at the same question we have been asking for 5 years. Is it the coach or is it the architect at the top who refused to let a manager manage? But moving on, we are hearing the same buzzword again. experience, balance, long-term planning. But the action in the market tells a completely different story. Fabrizio Romano has weighed in on what we should expect when the window opens. And it sounds like the club is finally admitting they're leaning too far into the youth projects. According to Fabrizio Romano, Chelsea will add some experienced player on top of their young talents this summer. It's early to say the names yet because it will depend on UCL and other things. Chelsea insists on keeping Rosenior. They can't go on like this result-wise, but overall, expectation is Rosenior is in charge next season. Plus, he will be involved in transfer targets discussion. They say they can't go on like this result-wise, but yet Rosenior is leading the charge for next season. It's a massive gamble. And speaking of gamble, let's talk about the churn of the squad. Brace yourself because it looks like yet another chaotic window on the horizon. According to Kenan Gill, Chelsea are anticipating another crazy summer, not only because they won't signing but also because of sales. In February, I wrote of Chelsea admiration for Adam Walton and Elliot Anderson, two centre-backs that fits what the club are looking for in a partner for Colwill are Van Heck and Lacrosse. Van Heck and Lacrosse. We are still searching for a partner for Colwill, despite the millions already spent. And it seems the club has moved on from previous targets. According to Kenan Gill, Chelsea need a centre-back. And I haven't heard they have gone back in for Marcos Senesi at Bournemouth or Jacob Ramon at Como. Two names I previously reported of interest in January when they decided to focus on Jeremy Jacquet. It feels like they are throwing the dart on the board and hoping one sticks. But the most damning report comes regarding our attack. According to Matt Law, the fact that Chelsea are still looking forward for who can play off the left suggests that the club are just as unconvinced by Garnacho as the Stamford Bridge fans. Unconvinced. You signed him, you had expectations, and I've said it before and I'll say it again. The fans were never convinced about him. To hear that the club are already looking for a way to play off the left because he hasn't delivered is an indictment on the entire scouting process. And then the situation between the sticks. We are banking on potentials again. According to Matt Law, Chelsea are banking on Mike Pendas returning from loan at Strasbourg to make a big impression, and nobody would dispute that the club needs a better goalkeeping option if they are to achieve their ambition. Look, Pendas have potential. He would be world class one day, but let's be honest, he's a gamble. Is he experienced enough to handle the suffocating pressure of the Premier League right now? I don't think so. We don't have time for another experimenting goal. We need a finished product. They are promising us a crazy summer, but I've been around this block too many times. I'll believe it when I see it. Until then, we are left wondering if the experience they are promising is just another way to distract us from a project that feels like it's built on sand. But moving on, if the crazy summer is actually happening, the first name on the list looks like it's coming from a familiar source. We have talked about him before, but the noise surrounding Paul Van Heck is becoming impossible to ignore. It feels like the stars are aligning for a move to London. The reports coming out of Netherlands are definitive. According to Voteboy International, Brighton has tried several times to entice Van Heck to sign a new, greatly improved contract, but he wants to play at the very top. There has always been interest from traditional top clubs in the Premier League. Chelsea was mentioned, as we are Newcastle and Tottenham. It's the same story we see time and again with Brighton. They develop them, they try to keep them, but once that top level dreams start calling, the exit door swings wide open. According to reports, Paul Van Heck seemed to be in his final week at Brighton. He dreams of playing at the top level and he's pinned his hope on his next move. Chelsea, Newcastle, Tottenham are interested. In my last video, I broke down exactly where he fits. All indication points to him. But as Fabrizio said, it depends on a lot of things. Look at the facts. He's already settled in the Premier League with over 100 appearances under his belt. And at 25, he's hitting that sweet spot where potential meets experience. We have a proven working relationship with Brighton, for better or worse. And with 1 year left in his contract, the price tag isn't going to be as astronomical figure we have seen in the past. It smells like a BlueCo deal true and true. It's a data-driven move for a player who can step in immediately. But here's the question. After almost 5 years of this project, are we finally making smart, opportunistic move? Or are we just raiding Brighton because it's the only scouting network the board seems to trust? And I want to know what you guys think. Is Van Heck the partner Colwill needs to finally stabilize our backline? Or is this another name on a never-ending list of what-ifs? Let me know in the comments. But moving on, while we keep hearing about potential and gambles, there's one name in the market that represents the finished product. If we want to talk about the aesthetic of football paired with elite production, we have to talk about Gonçalo Inácio. The timing of this report is incredible. Yesterday, he walked off the pitch at the Emirates after a defensive shift that had the whole Europe talking. In Sporting 0-0 draw against Arsenal, Inácio was a standout, recording a 7.1 match rating and making a goal-saving intervention that single-handedly kept the tie alive. The race for his signature is officially on, and the price tag is clear. According to the Bagos, the 24-year-old Sporting CP centre-back Gonçalo Inácio attracts interest from big clubs. His great season at Sporting, especially in the Champions League, has drawn attention in England from Chelsea, Liverpool, Manchester United, and Spain. His release clause is 60 million euros, but it's negotiable at 60 million euros for a 24-year-old with his IQ. That's a steal in this market. I've been watching him closely, and for those of you who appreciate how a defender can manipulate the pitch, Inácio is a dream. He's not just a centre-back, he's a deep playing playmaker. He's in the top 10% of European defenders for successful long balls. Imagine those diagonal ping finding Extova or Neto on the break. He's averaging nearly 70 passes per 90. He doesn't just recycle possession, he's a tastemaker at the back, constantly searching for the number 10 in the pocket, and physically, he's leveled up. He's winning 60% of his area duels this season. He's no longer a prospect, he's an anchor. But here is the reality check for us. We are in a three-way battle with Liverpool and Manchester United. Liverpool sees him as their heir to Van Dijk. United needs that left-footed balance. If the BlueCo strategy is actually about targeting under 25 talents with high technical flow, then Inácio is the gold standard. He offers that experience that balances out our younger, more raw defenders like Kobe. This isn't an experiment. This isn't a gamble on a maybe. This is a move for a player who detects the tempo of the game from the first whistle. So I'm asking you, do we stop the Reading Brighton cycle and actually go for the elite Champions League proven quality? Is 60 million euros the price we pay to finally fix our defense once and for all? Let me know in the comments. The link between Real Madrid and Enzo Fernández aren't going away, and it seems the board are already moving to protect themselves. According to Miguel Delidi, Chelsea has accelerated interest in Bournemouth Alex Scott ahead of what may be an auction for the midfielder in summer. Chelsea may need a replacement for Enzo Fernández. Bournemouth wants over £50 million. Now I'll be real with you, I haven't watched enough of Alex Scott to give my personal stamp of approval yet. But the scouts are obsessed. They are calling him the Gonzi Grealish, and when you look at the data, you see why. Real Madrid have an interest in Enzo Fernández, but the pursuit of Scott is still viewed as separate to that, given the 22-year-old is set to be one of the most sought-after players in the summer. Whether Enzo stays or goes, the club views Scott as a priority. He's 22, he's polished, he's an aesthetic dream in the middle of the park. He's a press breaker, ranking in the 88th percentile for successful takeoffs. When the opposition closes in, he doesn't panic, he weaves. But here is what is interesting for a BlueCo target. He actually works off the ball. He's in the 93rd percentile for clearance and the 71st for interception. Usually these tastemakers midfielders are passengers defensively, but Scott has the grit. But here is the concern. The final product. 1 assist in 32 games isn't going to cut it at all at the bridge. We need players who turns those progression into goals. His long ball accuracy is only at 32% compared to the passing range we used to see from Enzo, and you start to see the risk. Bournemouth wants over £50 million. We are talking about another massive investment in a player who provides a tactical grip, but might still be a year or two from being the finished product. But moving on, this Saturday 18th April is Chelsea vs Manchester United under the lights at Stamford Bridge. And let's be clear, this is a defining moment for our season. And honestly, I don't want to lose this. I repeat, I cannot lose this. We have got Champions League on the line. But most importantly, I have got a circle of Manchester United friends that I'm not trying to hear from in the next 6 months. So this is personal. The tactical landscape is a mess of desperation and opportunity. We are sitting 6th, 4 points off top 5, reeling from 3 consecutive defeats. That 3-0 bruising against City exposed our defensive fragility. And with 41 goals conceded this season, we are bleeding. But when you look at the other side, Michael Carrick United might be in third, but they are also walking into a nightmare. United arrive at the bridge following a shock defeat to Leeds. The biggest hurdle is a depleted backline. The Red Devils has only kept 1 clean sheet in the last 21 away games and will be missing 2 of their most senior centre-backs. Lisandro Martinez is out for violent conduct. Harry Maguire is out for abusive behaviour. They are turning to the young star Aiden Heaven to hold the line. If If we ever had a moment to exploit a weakened United, it's right now. We have the creative heartbeat back. We need Enzo Fernández to detect the tempo and remind everyone why he's a world-class talent. The history is dead even. 2 wins in the last 5 meetings. But history doesn't matter when you are 6 and fighting for your life. We are told the board have faith in Rosenior, but if we drop points here at home against the United team without their starting centre-backs, that faith is going to be tested to its absolute limits. We need an aesthetic masterclass. We need grit, and most of all, we need to protect our house. And I'm telling you, if we don't walk away with 3 points, the meltdown the board is worried about won't just be in the boardroom, it will be in the stands. And with that said, that's the end of the video, my friends. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. It go be.